Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the SAP Finug webinar together with Neomore. My name is Aleksi Rusthalo-Karhu, and I'm working as Executive Director in SAP Finug. And today here I have Robert Schneider with me talking about SAP Build, very interesting topic, and I will let Robert to deep dive into today's topic soon enough. Before that, I want to say a couple of practical issues on the webinar and also take a sneak peek on what's upcoming on the Finug event calendar. But once more, welcome everybody. You are all attendees muted on this webinar, and please feel free to ask questions and comments to the questions section, and we will have some time at the end to have a Q&A session together with you. And you will receive a presenting materials and the webinar recording from Neomore after this webinar. Great, let's take a quick look at upcomings. Okay, the biggest first, so the autumn seminar, the syysseminaari is already coming. Hope you already noticed that, and I hope many of you already have signed in to join, and really excited to see you there. We will start publishing the SAP customer stories next week. We already have published the keynote speakers, and you can find those on the event page or at our webpage sapfinug.fi. Also, a quick look at the event calendar. There is highlighted two things. Firstly, of course, the autumn seminar is highlighted on the end of October, but there is still the third part of the Neomore's webinar series together with us. So there will be SAP Business AI in the 1st of October. You should definitely check that out also. And a lot of upcoming webinars with other partners, as well as a couple of work groups which are only for our user members or customer members, if you want to call them those. This week we have still one with the SUSE, SAP Edge Integration Cell. If the topic is interesting for you, please be quick and register. We start with them on Thursday morning. Great. Let's get on today's agenda, which is all about SAP Build. And now I would like to hand over to Robert Schneider from Neomore. Okay, the virtual stage is all yours, Robert.
Thank you, Aleksi. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see. Yes, I believe so. All right. Thank you, and warm welcome also from my side. Glad to see so many people joining online. So let's go through SAP Build today, and let's have a look on the agenda. Yes, after a quick introduction to Neomore, I see there are some of you who have missed the first webinar of our webinar series, so I will quickly go through the Neomore, and then we will have a short introduction to SAP Build Apps. I will share you some overview followed by a live demo. After that, we jump over to SAP Build Process Automation, where I also have two demos prepared for you from some of our implementations that we did with our clients, and also will tell you some getting started and what are the low-hanging fruits here where you can start. Right, last but not least, SAP Build Work Zone. This is very much related to build apps and process automation because all the three tools integrate very well with each other. I will show you also how that works and plays together, and also will tell you about the difference between the different work zones. So there's the SAP Build Work Zone Standard Edition and the Advanced Edition, and I can show you what's the difference and Yes. Last but not least, we will have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So if you have any questions, just put them into the chat and we will pick them up later on. Right. So let's start with a short introduction to Neomore. So we are a Finnish SAP consultant company with around about 80 experienced SAP consultants, all located in Finland, either close to our Espoo or to our Tampere office or somewhere in between. And we have more than 20 consultants in our partner network. And on the right side, you can see the areas of expertise that we have here in Neomore. Right, what we do is we consult on business processes and applications, basically on all line of businesses. We have functional consultants that know the processes within our clients and also know how to apply them in the SAP systems. So we have those functional consultants. Then when it comes to extensions, we have a huge team that is developing custom Fiori applications. That's one area that Neomore is well known for is those Fiori applications. And like seen in the first webinar last week, those are nowadays all following the clean core concepts, running side by side on BTP if you want. And we have colleagues who support the full scope of those extensions. Then we also have the cloud technology and architecture team. That's the team that I'm heading, and there we are dealing with everything that is out there on the cloud from SAP, basically. So we are the leading BTP partner in Finland, supporting all services that are out there on the BTP at our clients. And we are also really strong when it comes to integrations. So building integrations from S/4HANA to other SAP solutions or to third party via, for example, Integration Suite or also some PIPO still, and also other integration platforms like Boomi is what we support. Right. Last but not least, we also have AMS and Cloud Application Lifecycle Management support. Right. Here you see an excerpt of our customers. Of course, not the full list, but the ones that we want to highlight here. And then let's jump directly into the topic. And if we start with a short recap of last week. So last week we were talking about clean core and how to extend and integrate S/4HANA using SAP's clean core principles. And here you can see that we have, let me change the pointer to the laser pointer. Here we have the key user extensibility that we were highlighting last week. And on top of that, there's also on-stack developer extensibility, which we were also going through last week. And then our colleague Mikko Hulkkonen showed you this example of a clean core Fiori application running side by side on BTP. Today, with the Build family, we are also on the right side on the SAP BTP side-by-side extensibility. And today we are not talking about those full-blown Fiori applications, but today it's rather about low-code, no-code developments and process automation, and then this user experience topics when it comes to the launchpad and the work zone that is running on BTP. So this is just to give you an overview where we are today. So today we are exclusively on the BTP. Right. So probably you also remember this slide from last week. So today, as said, we're here on the business technology platform and developing extensions on top of S/4HANA, which run side by side on the BTP, and those extensions communicate via APIs, via standard APIs with your S/4HANA, or in this case with our demo S/4HANA system. All right. So let's start with the SAP Build apps, and I'm sure you all have heard of it. So SAP Build apps originates from a company called AppGyver, that is a Finnish company that SAP bought, was it 3 to 5 years ago, which is a low-code, no-code platform for citizen developers. And the last part of this is really crucial. Here we are talking about citizen developers that are colleagues within your organization, so on the client side, which have a good understanding of what they want to achieve, which applications they want to build. They do not necessarily need any coding skills, but need some technical understanding here and there, and need a broad understanding of BTP and the extension concept with that SAP has. So, but we are talking about these that Build apps is really for citizen developers. So if you do not have any citizen developers, or those citizen developers do not have time to work on the Build apps, then probably this whole tool is not the right choice for you. So because here the concept is really that we, as a consulting company, we can enable you and your citizen developers to start using the Build apps. And that is really crucial, that your citizen developers are on board and support, and not only support, but actually run the implementation of custom app development. And we are here to set up the environment, to set up the build tenant, and also do the training and give introduction to the build apps. But actually, this is a tool for citizen developers within the client organization. Right, there are many low-code, no-code platforms out there on the market, and one of the main advantages that SAP Build Apps has is that it's very well integrated into the SAP system. I can show you a demo in a second where you can see how easy it is to consume APIs in S/4HANA, and that is really a really great benefit. So once the cloud connector is set up and the BTP is set up with the destination to your S/4HANA backend system, then the connections basically up and running, and you can start building apps with Build apps. Right. Then we also follow SAP's Fiori design patterns and the clean core concept when we build some apps. So we will have one user experience across all platforms, and it doesn't matter if those are standard Fiori apps, custom Fiori apps, or build apps. The end user in the end, when he accesses the application, that end user does not know, is it a standard Fiori app or has that app be built with build apps? There is, from the look and feel, there is probably no difference. Right, and as said, yes, the apps are, once they are deployed, they are running on BTP using standard APIs to connect to SAP backend. All right, let's jump into a demo, and I prepared something here. Let's go a bit back. So first of all, where do we start? We can basically start from here. Okay, now I have a timeout, no worries. Let's quickly jump back in. All right. Yes, here we go. So I'm now logging into my BTP cockpit. So this is one of Neomore's demo environments, demo sub-accounts where we enabled quite a lot of services on the BTP. And from here we can jump, for example, to the SAP Build apps, and then we end up in a so-called lobby. That's how SAP calls it. And from here we can access all the projects that we are currently working on. And yes, and here we find like projects from SAP Build apps, from process automation, and also Build Code, for example, and other areas of the SAP Build family. So, but now we are talking about these SAP Build apps, and I created a very simple demo here, just to give you a look and feel how that looks like. Okay, let's continue from here. Right, and this is a really basic setup. So I just created one page that lists me sales orders that are existing in my S/4HANA system. But I mentioned how easy it is to connect to the backend systems via APIs. So let's quickly do that. And for that, I just have to go to the Data tab. Then I say I want to add some integration to an SAP system. And here I can choose my BTP destinations that I already set up. And in this case, I already set up an S/4HANA catalog here to our backend system. And now we should have, yes, all the APIs that are out there connected to my system. And I can, for example, search for, what is happening? Okay. Some of this is a bit lacking now. Okay, API for plant. That's what I was looking for. And here I can define, okay, which fields are of my interest. And then I could already browse real data. And from here I can see like all the plans that are maintained in my S/4HANA backend system. And that works out of the box. And I can directly browse and check if the data that I'm receiving is that exactly what I was looking for. If not, then I can go back and try with another API or do some associations also, like going from sales order header to item and connect all the dots to retrieve the data that I actually need. Right, but this was just for demoing how easy it is to consume APIs. Once I have set up the cloud connector and the destination on BTP, I can very easily call APIs, and that's what I also did here. So once we are done with developing an application, I can go here and can look the preview of my app. Sorry. Okay, and where's my, here's my sales order API, sales order app. I can already have a look how it looks like. Okay, yes, I'm receiving some sales orders from my backend, and now I could go ahead, make that look a bit nicer, change the title, and continue from here. So, and then I could also add some more items here. I can add text, titles, input fields, password fields, everything you see here. I can also see graphical features if I want to. So there's also this marketplace available here, and from here I can go and check what is available, and could also add some graphical features to my app if I want to show some graph, like what is the trend, where are we going to. All right, not sure why I got now a timeout. But anyway, I hope you got the first impression of how SAP Build Apps looks like. If we go back to the slides, we can still talk about how we can support you, so how Neomore can support you. So what we usually do at our clients is that we help you setting up the SAP Build tenant. There we can start with setting up actually the prototype, a prototyping BTP sub account where we can enable, for example, the free tier SAP Build tenant. And then you can start playing around with SAP Build without any cost, and can have a first introduction to the build tools and get the look and feel and check if that tool is something for you. Right, we can also support you in enabling the backend systems, making sure the APIs work, that those are enabled, and the communication between the build tenant and your backend system works. We can also deploy some Kickstart projects, meaning some projects where you can play around with, where you can look how we develop some other build apps, and by that can start learning and can look up how we develop apps, and can then copy our apps and create something new. We also support in architectural design and support. So even so, the citizen developers, they're actually doing the implementation, but on a high level, we are here to support you in this architectural design. So once you have an app and you have some app or like page-to-page navigation, what happens when you click on a button that a new screen pops up, and what happens then? And so we can build up this architecture of the app together, and we also know where the limitations of SAP Build apps, and can also guide you on that. Right, we also provide citizen developer trainings, and we provide the learning material, so information where to get started as a citizen developers. We're also there to answer any questions, and if citizen developers come to a point where they're facing some challenges, we are here to help. Last but not least, we also provide AMS support. Right. I hope you got the first impression about the build apps, and now I think it's a good time to move on to process automation. So what is SAP Build Process Automation? I brought this screen with me today, and on the right side you can see what are the features of process automation, and I will also demo that to you in a second. So we are talking about processes and workflows. We can create forms with approvals. We can automate certain tasks, a really cool feature. Then we have a task center where we can see, okay, what are the tasks that where maybe some approval is waiting for me or something like that. Then we have business rules and decisions. There's a lot of pre-built content that I can show you in a second. Then there's this document information extraction that is part of our demo. And there's also process visibility and flexibility. But why is there Signavio on the left side? Very easy, because in SAP Signavio, you have this analysis of your existing SAP, and the analysis of your processes and how you currently run them. And based on that analysis, SAP will give you suggestions of which automations you should start using, or you should have a look into. And that's how well SAP Signavio and process automations play together. And of course, we can also help you setting up the Signavio and running the analysis, and then we can check together which are the process automations that are best for you, and can help you implementing those. Right. Yes, as I mentioned, there's a lot of pre-packaged content. Over 450 packaged content options are available currently. then, yeah, and I can also show that quickly to you. So once we are back in the SAP Build lobby, you can see there's the store on the left side. And here we can, okay, now it's already 509 prepackaged content, but now we could, for example, go here and check, okay, give me some process optimizations in the line of business. What do we choose? Maybe finance. And then this will filter this list and will then show me, okay, yeah, there are some really cool automations out there already, and some of them are really ready to use. Others are there as a template where I just need to do some adjustments and get the kickstart on starting to use them. Right, so that is really cool, and that is really something where you should have a look into this store. And those are basically the low-hanging fruits. There are a lot of automations pre-built by SAP that are already there that we just need to enable and start taking into use. And there we're also talking about, yeah, a few days to implement those automations instead of like developing something new, which might take a bit longer. But those are really working out of the box, and we can just starting to use them. Right, now time for a demo. So you get a good understanding of what we are actually talking about. And here we had one scenario from one of our clients. The client received a lot of purchase orders on a daily basis via email. And in those emails are basically PDF files with purchase order information. And then there was some person opening those PDF files and then typing everything that is in the PDF, copying that to SAP, and that was a huge manual task. And now we developed a scenario to automatically pick up those emails from the email, do document information extraction with a pre-trained model from SAP, and then a sales order was automatically created in S/4HANA using standard APIs. Right, and if we have a look into that, where to start? We can start basically from here. Let me show you my Outlook. Yes, here I created an example of a purchase order for demo purposes to show, okay, now we want to play with this purchase order here exactly. So a purchase order that we receive from this vendor, and we have like 2 items in here with 2 material numbers, 111 and 141, 2 and 3 pieces. Right, so let's try to remember that, and let's go to our lobby. Lobby is here, and we have an automation for that. Yes, here's the project, and now I run this automation in a testing mode. So on the client side, that was of course a bit more complex. There we scheduled this this automation on a regular basis. In my case now, the automation runs totally unattended, but in the client case, that was an attended automation, meaning there was always a human being in between the PDF file and the API call to the S/4HANA system, where we then had a look. On the left side we have the PDF file, on the right side is what got it extracted from the automation, and then a human being was able to correct certain values, or also basically correct and approve that what we do or what the automation did was the right thing. Right, so as said, now I'm running this, oh, sorry, now I have to look up something. I need the path. This is my path. So as said, in the real case, we did not need that, but for this demo purpose, I have to do it this way. And now I can start running this automation, and we can see, yes, we are retrieving it. This test, and now we are configuring to a so-called desktop agent, so that there's a bot that is running on my laptop, on my machine, and that bot basically listens to my Outlook instance and is then fetching the PDF files from that given folder in my Outlook instance, is listening to that, and is then running the automation that we see in the back. Now I have to check. Okay. The desktop agent is running, but as I said, like this is just for the demo purpose. In the real scenario, this is running a bit smoother and also running automated and scheduled. Okay. Yes, now this finally started, and I can see in the test console, yes, the automation found one email in the folder that I was giving in the beginning, saying like, please check from that Outlook folder, and then from here we can see already that information is being extracted, and for every basically for every field in the PDF file, I also get the information about the confidence that SAP has come up with. So SAP is in this case 91% sure that the right value got extracted from this one field. And so basically for every field, I get this confidence value also, which is also a good indicator for the end user if if the what got extracted, if that is right, or if we should have a detailed look in what the automation did and maybe correct certain values. But here you can see a sales order already got created, a sales order 253, and now we could go into our S/4HANA system. Let's quickly do that. Okay. And once we are back in our S/4HANA, we can probably also have a look at this automation if the thing that we got extracted, if that is the same that we had in the PDF file. Somehow my connection is a bit slow. Anyway. All right, and here we can see, yes, we have the right vendor up here. We have two items, 111 and 141, with 2 and 3 pieces. So basically, the extraction worked well. A standard API got called to send the data to S/4HANA. We didn't do any coding in the backend system, also not in the build process automation. So that is a really nice example how process automation can be used. If we want to still have a look on this order creation from email template, okay, I was here in this tab. yes, then we can see, okay, what did we actually do? We opened the Outlook instance, we logged the messages. That was basically the first message in my test console. And then for basically every email that I receive, I go through the attachments. I am calling this pre-trained model. I said we are using a pre-trained model here, and I said I'm expecting that the PDF file is a purchase order. That helps the AI a lot to know, okay, what are we actually talking about? So we are using these pre-trained models for purchase order. Then we are doing some logging, and then we are creating a sales order using a standard API here. And yes, here you can see again, I'm using the destination that I set up on the BTP, and then I just say that I'm calling the sales order API, and once all the items are also created, I also move this email away from the folder to some other folder. Then I would get the next email, and once all the emails are processed, I will then release my Outlook instance. If I want to, I could also send some email. I think that's also what I did in my case. So I also received an email saying, yeah, attention, a new sales order got created, or I could also notify certain persons in a different way. However I want, via Teams or via notification in S4HANA. That is, yeah, up to the citizen developer who's developing that and who's designing that. Right. Going back to the slides, that was this process automation demo. I have also one more demo. I think we can do that a bit quicker, but it's also about invoice approval. So in this case, I'm picking up invoices from a file storage and also do document information extraction again. And based on defined rules, I'm starting an invoice approval workflow, and then the approver can approve or reject the invoice, can add comments, and then the initiator receives information about the approval decision. So how that looks like, for that, let me go to my work zone, because from there I have this link to a form that got developed with the build process automation. We will talk about the work zone in a second. So everything you see here, I will also explain you in a couple of minutes. But here's the process automation. And in here, we have a form. Yes, the invoice approval form. So that is a form that I very quickly created using the process automation tool. And once this is loading, I can enter here my name. I put the file path to the invoice that I want to process now. I put the current date, and then I just say submit. And now same thing happens. Basically, I told you that now the automation is running, doing this document information extraction, and then based on certain rules is routing the invoice to the approver. And I can already check from my inbox, sorry, that I already got this invoice approval task in my mailbox. And here I can see, yes, there's an invoice with gross amount is 160 euros. And I can put a comment here and say approve, and then this is going for approval. So, but let's go back to the invoice approval process, so you can also have a look how this works. And here you can basically see how to create workflows very easily without any coding directly in process automation. Okay, so this is the get invoice details. That's the process. And here we can see, once this is loading, yes, so we have this form, the invoice request form. Then we run the automation to extract the data. And from here, we already have some, after we extracted the data, we have a condition here saying if, what is the condition? The gross amount is greater than 100, then we want to determine the approver. If it's lower than 100, we can automatically approve the invoice. But in this case, we remember the amount was 160. So now we need to determine an approver. And also here, we have this nice editor from where we can then define who should be the approver in which case. And this can be, yeah, customized very, very nicely based on my criteria, basically. So here, in this case, we have a decision table, and this decision table here says if in this case, this is very simple. If the sender is Neomore Tampere, so if I find this in the invoice, then this will go to me. And if the sender is Neomore Espoo, then this will go to my colleague Chino. And yeah, this is basically very simple, just to show you, but I can add many rows and can have really nice decision tables to come up with this approval, different hierarchy levels of approval for my invoices. And as you have been, if you have seen, in this case, the invoice went to the inbox, right? It was in here, but I could also send an email to inform the approver to have a look into the SAP system and approve this invoice before it goes to the next level, or before we actually call an API to the SAP system and then finally input the invoice into the SAP S/4HANA system. Right, so this was just to give any information and yeah, an introduction how workflows can be built with process automation without any coding effort. All right, back to the slides. Okay, again here, how we can support you. We can again set up the environments. We provide demo cases. We do citizen developer training. We can give recommendations on process optimizations, for example, with SAP Signavio or with some other tools or with our own experience of low-hanging fruits, what we have done for other clients that might also be relevant and interesting for you. We provide guidance and best practices. We can also implement those automations if you want to. And we can also set up the monitoring, for example, via Cloud ALM, and provide AMS support. Right, then you have already seen the work zone. So let's go back to the work zone so you get this is the last topic for today. Let's go back to the work zone. I think it's the best if we directly demo that in the work zone. So what you see here is my work zone advanced edition. As mentioned, there's the work zone standard edition and there's the work zone advanced edition. And if we look here, I think I have a nice picture here showing you the different features of the standard edition and the advanced edition. So what you have also seen last week in our first webinar, we were showing you the work zone standard edition. That is basically a launchpad, or basically both are launchpads that are running on the BTP side by side next to your SAP system, but those integrate very well with your S/4HANA system. And you will need a work zone standard edition or advanced edition once you deployed your first applications on BTP. So once you have apps running side by side on BTP, then you need a launchpad, and that is the work zone, either standard edition or advanced edition. In both of them, the editions, you can add standard apps, you can add custom apps, you can also add third-party apps and links to the launchpad. For example, last week we have seen in the demo there was like links to standard apps, there was links to an app variant that was done with UI adaptation tools. Then we also had some real custom apps. We also had links to external website to check the launch menu and things like that. So all that is possible with the standard edition and the advanced edition. And down here in this, we can also see what it still includes. So the standard edition has this central access to apps, tasks, and processes. We have personalized and role-based user experience. As said, we can integrate content from different sources, and we can also flexibly customize the launchpad so that it looks like according to the layout and the how you would like to see it, like with the colors and the fonts and everything that can be adjusted to your needs, and we can put your logos and so on. That is all no problem. The advanced edition has some additional features where we can create own pages and content. We can interact with each other via the work zone. We also have knowledge management included and UI cards and content widgets. So basically, what you can see here is, if we go back one step, those are websites that I created for demo purposes, which not directly are referring to S/4HANA. So I can create really my own pages here. So it's like an intranet, right? So I can create content based on different workspaces. For example, I have here this workspace we are currently in is this BTP Roadshow. I can also have a different workspace just for the sales team. And so I can have multiple different workspaces based on my company needs, basically. I can really create as many workspaces as I need, and then I can interact with my colleagues. I can invite my colleagues to my workspaces, and then we can work together on tasks. And as you have seen here in this process automation on this side, from here we can, for example, jump to standard apps, like you have seen here on the left side. Here we have the manage sales orders app, which is running on my S/4HANA system, or we can also jump to this invoice approval form that you have seen, which has been developed with Build Process Automation. And so I can really nicely set up my workspace to provide the content that the end user need. And it's also very easy to set up. It's very easy to create content here and to add standard apps, to add custom apps, to add stuff from process automation and also third-party links, for example, or third-party apps can also be included. Right. Did I miss anything? Yes, of course, in the standard edition and in the advanced edition, we have this inbox as I was showing you before. From here, we have like this task list, and you can see, okay, now I get also this notification, my invoice got approved. I can see the comment. Okay, in this case, I'm the approver and also the initiator, but that doesn't really matter. But you can see this inbox, this task center is also available in the work zone, in the standard edition and in the advanced edition. But what this advanced edition brings more to the table is that I can interact here with my colleagues and can create my own websites. I can have a knowledge base, forums, event calendar if I want to, and there's a lot more to explore in the advanced edition compared to the standard edition. So all that is not available in the WorkZone standard edition. WorkZone standard edition is basically for providing access to standard apps, custom apps, and to the inbox. Right, going back to the slides. I think I already mentioned all that. Maybe something interesting to mention is that I think in most of the clients, we had also the requirements to set up the integration with Entra ID to provide single sign-on to the end users to then actually access the work zone. And from the work zone, once we are already logged in, we also want to have this principal propagation. So the user is also propagated to the backend system in case we are calling a standard app, or to BTP in case we are running an app or clicking on an app that is running on BTP. Right. Last but not least, we have one more event coming up next week, next Tuesday, where we're talking about SAP Business AI. I've seen already a lot registration for that. If you have not signed up yet, then please do it now. If you missed the first session, just reach out to me. I can provide you the recording and the document from the first session also. And some other highlight is our BTP roadshows that we run with our clients. So those are really tailored to our customers, where we go through different kind of services of the BTP, talking about the clean core concept, talking about build, talking about Signavio, or basically anything that is of your interest, and we can provide you with demos and share our feedback and best practices that we and our experience that we had with other clients with those tools, and can guide you and help you getting started. All right, and those are roadshows that we run are free of charge, and based on your needs and how you would like to have it, you can come to our office, we can come to your office, have it in person. We can also have it online in one session, in multiple sessions. We can discuss. We are open to hear how you would like us to have this BTP roadshow. Right, here are the key takeaways. Start exploring SAP Build. There are free tier options available. Check out the pre-packaged content and get in contact with us to talk about your SAP Build strategy and the next steps. All right, Alexei, we have some minutes left for questions. Can you help me in identifying the most relevant questions, and we can go through them?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Robert. Very extensive take on the build. And if you have more questions, just use the question section and we'll get it here on live. So we have a couple of questions. Let's start with the first one. It's pretty straightforward. Your recommendation on where to start with these SAP Build tools.
Right. Good question. As I mentioned here, there's a free tier option available for the build tools. So our recommendation is to set up a sub account within your organization, set up the cloud connector, and those free tier SAP Build services. so that come without any cost. You can just go activate them, start playing around, check out the prepackaged content. It doesn't cost anything except a couple of hours to get started. We can help you with getting started, but those are, I would say, our recommendations of how to get started. Start using the free tier option and start playing around free of charge.
There is actually, for the free tier related question on this, how are these SAP Build tools licensed? So now when you can start with the free tier, what's next?
Yes, there we can always check out the SAP Discovery Center, which is the go-to website where we can explore all the services that are out there on the BTP, where we also find learning material, but of course we'll find information about the pricing. And then once we have a service, then I find it here directly. Now, build. Yes, then we have here, you can see those are having those free tier options. And from here you can go and start exploring the services. You find customer stories, but you also find information about the pricing here on this tab. You find missions, how to get started with the learning and so on. And here you have, as I said, the pricing information, and you can go through them, and we can also help you in understanding those pricing options. That's not always straightforward, but we can help you. So basically here for the process automation, you pay per user. There are different kinds of users. Standard user are the ones who are like filling in a form. Then there are advanced users, the ones who are building actually some forms. And I was also demoing the bots, the automation bots, and there you can also find the prices here for those bots. And yeah, in the cases that where we were implementing those bots, that was really, in the beginning it looks maybe a bit expensive, but if you think about how much time you can actually save once you start using those bots and get rid of those recurring manual tasks, you save actually a lot of time and money after all. And you can also share those bots and run different automations one after the other. So that is really a powerful tool you should start looking into. Right. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you for answering. There's one more question and we have still time for it. It's yes, as we know that there are still a lot of people in ECC. So can we use SAP Build tools while on ECC?
Yes, definitely. The only limitation is with SAP ECC, you do not have the pre-built APIs available which you have on S4HANA. That means we need some custom APIs, some custom OData service developed for ECC to communicate with the backend. But that's also what we do in our clients. And then once we have those custom APIs available, then also the build tools work nicely with those. Yes, we have some really good experience with ECC as well. All right. Was there any other questions?
No, those were the questions for now. Thank you for everybody who asked.
Perfect.
And we're actually quite, like perfectly in time right now. So I really want to thank you, Robert. Very interesting take on SAP Build. Hope you all on the line agree. And there you can see also Robert's contact details, so feel free to contact him on this topic. So, do you want to say any final remarks on the webinar?
Well, thank you, Alexei. Thanks for for hosting this webinar today. And as said, if you haven't done yet, please sign up for the third webinar next week. And see you then. Thank you.
Yes, hope to see you on the SAP Business AI webinar on 1st of October. And of course, remember, check out the SAP Finug Autumn Conference that is coming on. Have a very pleasant Tuesday, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.